It is 5:01. It is 5:01 p.m. and the chair calls this special redistricting meeting in order. I want to make sure and see if we have check for attendance. So Dr. Kane.
Present.
All right, and those joining virtually, let me see, Mr. Murillo.
Present.
And Ms. Pierce, Trustee Pierce.
Here.
Okay. And Trustee Ayers Wilson.
Present.
Perfect. Do we see any other trustees there? Okay. If you can follow me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Which stands one nation under God.
Thank you. Dr. Head, has the posting be properly certified?
Yes, I certify it was posted in accordance with the law.
Thank you, sir. Our next item is public comment. Do we have anyone available for public comment?
Madam Chair, we have no public comment tonight.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next item is the approval of the February 9th, 2022 special meeting on redistricting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we first moved and second, Trustee Pierce, Trustee Murillo, and Trustee Pierce second. Thank you. Motion has passed. They voted yes.
Yes.
Our
Yes.
next item is the presentation of the redistricting maps. And then we have Ms. McBride to lead us, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is good to be in front of you. I'm here with my colleague, Paige Martin, as well as your demographer, Rocky Gardner, one half of your demographic team. And we're really happy to come and present on the incredible progress that the board, redistricting committee, and a community have made in this redistricting process. So tonight, we're just going to quickly review what our constraints are when we are rebalancing population, because that's our whole purpose, is to rebalance population. Do I need to stop? Am I? Okay. So we'll quickly review what the constraints are with respect to rebalancing that population. For context, go over maps 1 and 2. And then what we want to do is show you our work, because if you will remember, maps 1 and 2 are what this board considered back in February. And then we've been going through a period of public comment and trustee comment and taking those into consideration. And that has led us to map 6, which is most faithful to the criteria adopted by the board, as well as the comments we've received by the public and as well as the trustees. But just like in school, we don't want to just give the answer, map 6, on a math problem, but we want to be very transparent and show our work as how we got from maps 1 and 2 to map 6. And that's why we've included maps 3, 4, and 5 in this presentation, so that you can see the progression. As we got comments in, we made adjustments to the map, and that's how we get from map 1 to map 6. Remember, maps 1 and 2 were alternative versions of accomplishing rebalancing. Map 3 is based on map 1. Map 4 is a progression of map 3. Map 5 is a progression from there. And map 6 is the ultimate progression that incorporates all criteria to the best we can, trustee and public comments to the best we can. So we'll unpack that a little bit more. And then we'll talk timeline. Spoiler alert, we're ahead on our timeline. So we'll talk a little bit about that and next steps. So just reminding everyone, I know you've seen this slide a million times by now. These are your current boundaries. And if you will recall, in 2013, you had about equal population, even though the physical size of your single member districts were different. What we're talking about in redistricting is your total population within each of those boundaries. And what we had to do, because your districts over the single member districts over the decade in the northern part of your district were larger, more populous than those in the southern part of the district, even though your smallest single member districts and one of your largest are in the south, it could not just be a population shift between single member district 1, which was your largest, and single member district number 4, which was your smallest, because we have to maintain that 10% variance throughout the entire system, which means we had to move population from your heavy population centers in the north down to the south to keep everything balanced across the 9 single member district system. So I'm including your 2020 census. You guys are very familiar with that, but just a refresher, because the difference between your most populous and least populous single member district was greater than 10%. At 38.2%, we definitely had to redistrict. Remind you that at the beginning of the decade, take a look at where we were with respect to single member districts 2, 3, 4, and 6, because 4 is your opportunity district with respect to Hispanic citizen voting age population, and 2, 3, and 6 are your influence districts with respect to African American and Hispanic citizen voting age combined. So we're always mindful of those numbers and when we're rebalancing our single member districts. So as I indicated at the beginning of our presentation, just a quick reminder of some of our constraints. We have 9 map drawing principles that the board adopted that are, some are pragmatic, some just codify state law. But on top of that, we have some very specific requirements that come from a consent decree about what our single member districts must look like. So one single member district must be an opportunity district on the basis of Latino or Hispanic citizen voting age population. We have to have one single member district where Latinos are the majority on the basis of citizen voting age population. That has historically been your single member district number 4. Then we have to have 2 additional single member districts where when you combine African American and Latino citizen voting age population, they have influence. In 2013, it was drawn such that they were greater than 50%. Doesn't necessarily have to be, they just have to be the greatest block of minority voting power in that particular single member district. Currently, you have 3, that single member districts 2, 3, and 6 that we're trying to maintain. So on top of the 9 single redistricting criteria, we have this criteria that comes from your consent decree, maintaining your opportunity district, single member district 4, and maintaining your influence districts, single member districts 2, 3, and 6. And then I've included the 9 single member district map drawing criteria. I won't go through all of them since at every community meeting, we've gone through all 9 of them. But you can see that there are 9. The 8th one refers specifically to our obligation under the Voting Rights Act generally, but we're under a more specific consent decree that gives us specific requirements regarding 4 of our single member districts, single member district 4, again, 2, 3, and 6. Then to refresh your memory, based on those constraints and knowing that we were out of balance at 38.2% deviation between our most and least populous district, we first did Plan 1. And if you'll look at Plan 1, again, remember I said that basically we were moving population from the north to the south, realizing that single member district 1 in the south had to get much smaller, single member district 4 had to get much larger, but in order to do that, we had to do some shuffling all the way around. Plan 1 starts the shuffling going from single member district 7 to single member district number 5. So 7 is losing population to 5, which is losing population to 9, which is losing population to 6, and so on and so on. That's the cascade effect or the orientation of Plan 1. Then the numbers for Plan 1 were under that 10% variance, which is a check mark. Single member District 4 is still the smallest, and single member District 9 is still the largest under this particular plan. And we maintain our influence districts, all three of them, as well as single member District 4 as our opportunity district on the basis of Hispanic citizen voting age population. This slide just shows you in more detail the changes under Plan 1, but we've reviewed those and gone out to the community on those. Plan 2 is a similar attempt to balance population, but the orientation is in the other direction. Instead of going from 7 to single member District 5, we go from 7 to 8. So 7 loses population to 8, which loses some population to 2, which loses some population to 6, and so on. So it's just a different orientation than Plan 1. You can see that Plan 2 did bring us back under our variance, not as far as Plan 1 did. Plan 1 had us at 9%, Plan 2 at 9.2%, and then we maintain both our influence districts, all three of them, as well as our opportunity district. And then here are the specific changes that we have gone over as a committee, as a full board, in all of our community meetings that explain the changes in Plan 2. And you can see that cascade effect that we're talking about, going from north population centers downward, making your single member districts in the south larger. So then we got public and trustee comments. And so now we're going to talk about how we progress from plans 1 and 2 to plans 3, 4, 5, and 6. So one trustee comment that we got was that single member district number 1 lost the Cypress Center to single member district number 3 in both plans 1 and 2. And that center, based on historical being in single member district 1 and maintaining constituency relations, should remain in single member district number 1. So plans 3, 5, and 6 put that center back in single member district number 1, unlike plans 1 and 2. And you're going to see a lot of these comments were about maintaining facilities that historically have been in a particular single member district in that single member district. The next comment that we have is, to the extent that single member district 3 needs to gain population, it should be from single member district 6 and 4 rather than single member district number 1. Both plans 1 and 2 had single member district 3 gaining a significant population from single member district number 1 in the south. Plans 3 and 5 do not. Plan 6 actually does have single member district number 3 gaining population from single member district number 1, but that's happening in the northeast, which is a different area that is actually acceptable to that trustee. So Plan 6, although it does not comply with this particular request, the population shift in Plan 6 is agreeable to single member district number 3. The third comment that we have there is that the boundary line between single member district number 9 and 6 should be smoothed out, instead of having single member district number 6 gain a big rectangle from single member district number 9. And both plans 5 and 6 accomplish that. When you look at the boundary line between single member district number 9 and 6, you'll see a smooth boundary as opposed to a jagged boundary where on either side of that line, single member district 6 is gaining population or single member district 9 is gaining population. That is different than what you see in plan number 3. Plan number 3 moves centers back into single member districts that were requested. Plan number 5 actually began to smooth out some boundaries that were requested to be smoothed out. And plan number 6 smoothed out boundaries even more. The next request was about the Atascocita Center, and the Process Technology Center should remain in single member district number 8. If you will remember, under plans 1 and 2, the boundary between single member district number 8 and single member district number 2 had single member district number 2 gaining a big chunk from single member district number 8 in the south. So disrupting that boundary that has historically been the boundary between those two single member districts. Plans 3, 4, 5, and 6 restore that boundary to the original boundary and place the Atascocita Center and the Process Center back in single member district number 8. The specific area gains and losses do not matter as much as CVAP percentages, because the opportunity and influence districts need to continue to meet required criteria. So actually, this is all of our plans satisfy this comment, but specifically talking about the new iteration of plans, it's plans 3, 5, and 6. The reason why we don't have plan 4 up there is based on the next comment. What Plan 4 attempts to do, based on a request that we received, was to place the entire school district of Humble ISD into single member district 8. So the entire school district would be served by single member district 8. Doing that, though, meant taking significant population out of single member district number 2 and made single member district number 2 no longer an influence district. And so that's why we're not presenting Plan 4 to you today as being a plan that is viable, but we wanted to show that we received that comment, we looked at it, we attempted to accomplish it, and the reason that we can't accomplish it is because of the consent decree that we have from the court. So that's Plan 4. Plan 4 is different from Plan 3, 5, or 6. The map should be drawn to maintain incumbent constituency relations as much as possible. Plan 6 does this best because it incorporates boundaries that are more smoothed out and are more traditional or historical as between single member districts based on trustee comments. The next comment that we have there is single member district number 1 can lose population northeast of Highway 290 to help maintain influence numbers in single member districts number 3 and 6. And that's precisely Plan 6. That's what we went back and did in Plan 6. We wanted to maintain some population in single member district number 6 that has historically been in single member district number 6, but that meant that single member district number 3 had to gain population from somewhere because it's relatively small. And so where was it going to gain population from? From single member district number 1. So single member district number 6 maintains some population. Single member district number 3 gains population from single member district number 1, as does 6 gaining population from single member district number 1. So that's why Plan 6 kind of accomplishes almost all of these comments, except for the one about placing all of Humble in single member district number 8, because that's just not feasible to do. And then the last comment that we have there, to the extent single member district number 3 needs to gain population, it should be from the northeast of single member district 1 rather than the boot that has traditionally been part of single member district number 6. That's what happens in Plan 6. Plan 6, single member district number 6 keeps its traditional boot that goes kind of down into single member district number 3. 3 does not gain any of that population, but in order to be larger, which single member district number 3 does need to grow, it gains population from single member district number 1, but not from the south. It's gaining population from the northeast, which that community is a little bit more similar to the community that is already in single member district number 3. So maintaining communities of interest and like populations, which is 2 of your 9 criteria. So some additional comments that we received was some support from Plan 2. It's a rather long comment, seeing that Plan 2 had some smoother lines. Plans 3, 5, and 6 attempt to smooth out lines between boundaries so they're not as jagged. Of course, the community at the time this comment was made didn't have the benefit of 3, 5, or 6 in supporting 2. And then a comment with respect to it seems like one of the single member districts was deliberately drawn with a Hispanic majority. And that is correct because our consent decree requires it. So that comment from the public that observation from the public is actually a correct one because we had to comply with that consent decree. And then in one of our community meetings with respect to plans 1 and 2, we had a member of the public, a faculty member, administration member, make the comment that under plans 1 and 2, Lone Star Tomball stays in single member district number 5, while the rest of Tomball goes to single member district number 9. Could the facility of Lone Star College Tomball be maintained in the same single member district as the rest of Tomball? That's going to be hard. Neither plans 3, 4, 5, or 6 do that, because if you remember, we've got to shift population downward from those population centers in the north to the south. So if there's something that this board wanted to look at further with respect to Plan 6, it would be that comment there, because Plan 6 does not accomplish that comment. Neither does Plan 3, neither does Plan 5, neither does Plan 4. Plan 6 accomplishes all the other comments, but under Plan 6, there's still that division between Lone Star Tomball and the rest of the city of Tomball. It's still split between SMD 5 and 9. So just wanted to point that out. And so now we have here plans 3, 4, 5, and 6. But again, as I explained, map 3 is just an iteration of map 1, moving some centers that were requested back into single member districts and smoothing out some boundaries. Map 4 was the Humble ISD experiment, which we realized didn't work. Map 5 is smoothing out some additional boundaries between trustee districts. And map 6 is that final smooth out of boundaries between single member districts 1, 3, and 6, so that single member district number 6 maintains its boot at the bottom of the southern part of single member district number 6, and then single member district number 1, with the permission of the trustee Stoma from single member district number 1, gives up population in the northeast to both single member district number 3 and single member district number 6. So I'm going to pull up or ask up our demographer, Rocky Gardner, to walk through those plans, but the Plan 6 is the one we are presenting to you all, but showing the progression of how we got from 3 to 6.
Thank you, Lisa. It's a pleasure to be back in person. And I know that I look a lot thinner here, right, than on video. So that's a good thing. So yeah, I'm going to start with Plan 3, and I think you guys have seen it a few times, but I'm just going to go through these pretty briskly. But if you need to look at something specific that I can't, I got my laptop here and I can zoom in on some stuff if we really need to. If you need a street name or something like that, please feel free to stop me. So this is Plan 3. And again, like Lisa said, all these plans are shifting population from the north to the south. When I first started this, my thought was 5, 7, 8, and 9 basically each need to lose almost 20,000 persons. So we're shifting almost 80,000 persons to the south. So that was kind of give you an idea of what the challenge was there. So if we look at the total numbers from Plan 3, 9.6%, so just right below 10%. Your smallest district is still SMD number 4. Your largest in this one is SMD 1 with 261. You can see there that we've got our opportunity district at District 4 is still over 50%, and we have our 3 influence districts, Districts 2, 3, and 6, that are combined African American and Hispanic populations of over 50%. When we're looking at the CVAP, citizen voting age pop. So if I look at the circles here represent areas that were moved or changed within this plan. I'm zooming into a couple of them here. So this is where District 1 is capturing population from District 9, and District 1 is giving up some population there to District 6. You can see the circles there. And this is a zoom into some of that information. Again, they're swapping some land. It almost looks like that, but it made sense with the numbers there. And you can see there on that far east side, this is a plan that this is an area that you'll see changes as we move forward. And this zooms out to the single member District 2. You can see the changes there. There's a significant number of changes. In most cases, we're capturing, we're going to the north into District 8. We're grabbing, a little bit. We're giving up some population actually to District 6, and we're picking up some population from District 4. In single member District 3, you can see that that's the boot we were talking about before, that 3 captures that is currently in District 6. And at the top there, they capture a little bit more District 6 and then gives up that triangle there as well to District 6. Single member District 4, you can see that that's a nice clean line across the top there. Is that Luetta? I think that might be. And we got another clean, sorry. I'll step back. That's another line, we see where District 4 is going into District 6 and capturing population, and District 4 is giving up population to District 3. So this is quite a shell game. And then of course, on the northeast corner there, we see some changes there between 2 and 4. With single member District 5, we went up there along Lake Creek and West Fork. Again, this is capturing population that we needed to give up in District 7. District 5 then shifts and gives population to District 9. So we're working our way down. That has some of the Tomball area that was talked about before. That area actually gets shrunk a little bit later on. And then of course, District 6, we have the most circles. There's a lot going on here, but you can see there the north side of District 6 is capturing populations from 2 and from 9. The west side there is capturing populations from single member District 1, and then single member District 4 is capturing population there from single member District 6. That would be a little different. Single member District 7, you can see there we're just using that Lake Creek, the Creek River area there that's going to 5. Discuss that a little bit. And then in District 8, you can see there in the northern part of District 8 there where they're giving up population to single member District 2. This was a significant change from say numbers 1 and 2. And of course, then single member District 9, single member District 9, capturing population from the north and then delivering it to the south, if you will. So Plan 4 is again one was requested by one of the trustees, and we went over and we tried capturing all of Humble ISD and placing it in District 8. That was really the only change between 3 and 4 was that change there. You can see that by population, we could make that work, 9% differential, but you can see there that we've got some challenges there with single member District 2 is just when you combine the Hispanic and the African-American populations, it's 48%. And so it doesn't meet our criteria there. And District 6 is also at 48%. So they're not quite combined for 50% there. That was one of our challenges. So with that, just a couple of these changes here. These are all the same until we get really over here into 8 and 2 is where we see the significant change there. We're trying to capture, you're picking up that much population from 2, it's gonna have to go and get it somewhere, which is why it goes north and captures all the population to the north there. That slide just zeroes in a little more on those opportunities. And then we get to Plan 5. So Plan 5 again came from Plan 3, but we try to go back in and we move some of these, some of the area to what you'll see here. Well, wait. No, I got ahead of myself. This is 9.8% differential. Again, number 4 remains the smallest. Number 6 is the largest in this case. I'm sorry, number 7 is the largest. 50% differential between African-American and Hispanic with 2, 3, and 6. And then you got a greater than 50% differential in single member District 4. And here are the changes. We tried to narrow in on the ones that changed significantly. You can see we'll zero in on a few of these. Now, this is where things look a little bit different. You can see it in the south. The borders in the very south between 1 and 3 remain just as they are today. Now we have District 1 capturing a little more of 9, and District number 6 comes over and gets a little more District 1 there for that on that one. And then on the side over here, this is still pretty nice clean line there where District 6 is capturing some of 2 and of 8. And we got a little bit there that we've captured there from between District 6 and District 2, just kind of smooth out about a line up there. this zooms in between 7 and 5. You can see there, instead of going out to the lake or the creek, we didn't need to capture as much because we didn't give up as much in the south in the Tomball area. And again, this is the District 6 changes there that I referred to. And this is the District 7's change. It's the same as District 5, right? And District 9, you can see that again to the north, not as much Tomball there, but we did smooth out that line. I really like the line between 9 and 6, and then you can see what we've captured there. Just a little bit of District 1 going up and grabbing some 9. So finally, Plan 6. So this is when things begin to come together. Okay, we've moved the centers that we needed to move, and we've talked about some different opportunities. We're still at 9.8%. Our Districts 4 and 7 did not change in these plans because that's not where we were doing our work. And so our differential did not change. Our African-American and Hispanic populations in Districts 2, 3, and 6 still combined to be just over 50%. And we're sitting with our opportunity district of District 4 is still almost 52%. So here's some areas that changed, the circles here. Now we can zoom up here. So again, this is the area here where District 1 and District 9 combine. You can see now that area to the north there, we've got a little bit more of 3 going up into District 1. And so the 3 of those kind of split up that area on the north side of the freeway there. And then you've got part of 6 and part of 1 all taking up some of that area that was previously 9 then as well. And then this was an opportunity for us to return the boot to look the way it had before. That boundary line is now unchanged there in that southern part, although we do have some of District 3 going up into District 4, and then we have that northern part there of District 3 going up and capturing some of District 1. That's a lot going on there. Plans. So in District 6, the changes here, again, the boots returned. Things look the same over there. We've got a small part of District 3 that's going in there and capturing some of District 6. And then we got District 6 there going into District 1. So this might be the best comparison you're going to see, because this is where the numbers all come together. In District 1, you can see that District 1 was sitting at 279,000. So keep in mind, we did pull out almost between Plan 6 and 2020, we took out 30,000 persons almost, right? So the 30,000 per person change gets them down to that 245. With District 2, keep in mind, District 2 was one of our influence districts. So the goal there was to stay above 50% with your combined African-American and Hispanic, which you see that if we look across the table here, that this works for every one of these except for the Plan 4. And if you look at Plan 6, they're at almost 59%. District 3, also an influence district, so we are going to focus again. We did have to add quite a bit of population, so we added almost 50,000 persons to District 3, but we still were able to accomplish our goal of staying above 50% to keep this an influence district. And in District 6, you can see there that's 54%. In District 4, this is our district of opportunity, so our focus there was to try to keep Hispanic above 50%. And you can see there that although they were at almost 57% in Plan 2, we had to add almost 50,000 persons to this district, because it turned out it was about 37,000 to stay within our 10% tolerance, but we did stay at 51.8% there. District 5, there it's a population moved from 272,000 down to 255,000. So we smoothed it out to keep it within tolerance. District 6, this was another influence district. So we focused there on our African-American, Hispanic CVAP population staying above 50%, which we were successful in doing. District 7, again, District 7 had to lose population, not a lot to get within tolerance, but we did get them down just enough to be within tolerance, down to 261,000. And District 8. District 8 was also one that we had to lose population on, again, from 273 down to 259. We accomplished our goal there. And finally, with District 9, another one with over 270,000, and we got them down to 261,000. So again, accomplishing our goals across the board there. With that, before we go on, do we want any questions about these plans? Is that right?
One thing that I would point out for the board, if you might be noticing that on looking at the citizen voting age population percentages for some of the single member districts, there's some bold. Those are your influence single member districts and your opportunity single member district. What we did was for each one of those, we showed you where if you were just looking at the numbers, where the numbers in terms of citizen voting age population were the highest. Now, of course, you are not just looking at the numbers. You have 9 criteria in addition to the requirements of your consent decree. And in many cases, with respect to Plan 6, you guys have wanted to either keep a center in a particular single member district or smooth out a boundary or maintain constituency relations by keeping the shape of the single member district the same. And those are important, relevant considerations, but just wanted you to have both pieces of information, but you've only deviated from situations where you would have the highest numbers because you were complying with or being faithful to another one of your criteria, which is either preserving an existing boundary line, smoothing out a boundary line, and using more natural barriers, or preserving constituency relations in a particular single member district. But we have provided that data for each of your influence as well as opportunity district as to where just the numbers are the highest. Are
I
there
do have
any
a question.
questions?
I do. I have a question, but I just want to make sure and give the floor to any of my colleagues if they have any questions. Those joining us virtually, do y'all have any questions? So my question, Ms. McBride, is now that we have one map, what is the next step?
I am so glad that you asked that.
Oh, perfect.
So we were planning to have a redistricting committee meeting next week. And the purpose of that meeting next week was we thought we were going to have another round of maps to go out to the community on. And so to try to narrow that down even further, but we've already kind of gotten everything into one map. So our next step really is, and I know this is going to be near and dear to Trustee Maria's ears, as well as to Trustee Pierce's ears, is to overlay onto map 6 your election precincts, and then look at where we have splits and to see, can we smooth out some of those splits without violating any of the 8 criteria or the consent decree. So that's step number 1. Then step number 2 is to take your opportunity single member districts as well as your 3 influence districts and send it to an election record statistician to say, we're looking at the numbers, we're looking at the court requirements, but now based on our voting history that we have by precincts, tell us if the numbers are actually correct. These are viable as influence and opportunity districts. That analysis we cannot get done in a week's time. What we were thinking we were going to be able to be doing for next week is just looking at more maps. So with the board's permission, I think the redistricting committee would like to consider rescheduling their redistricting committee meeting, not canceling it, for when that analysis is done, so that the redistricting committee can look at that analysis first, the precinct overlay, and make recommendations regarding that, as well as the report from the statistician regarding the viability, going beyond the numbers and looking at your election history, and then get your recommendations from your redistricting committee to bring back to the board. So we're about a month ahead on our timeline. And so what we would be proposing for the redistricting committee to consider is rescheduling that meeting for as soon as that data set, those 2 data sets are available. One would come from from our demographer on the overlay of election precincts. One will come from a statistician expert regarding the actual viability based on your election history of your influence and opportunity districts. So that would be my recommendation for consideration, is delaying that meeting. Those are our next steps. We want to get that information so that we can have an opportunity to discuss it as a redistricting committee and as a board. And you already have a board meeting scheduled in May prior to when we go out for our public hearing. I believe it's on June 8th. So we're still on schedule. I just think we need to delay with the board's permission and with the redistricting committee's consideration, the meeting for next week, because what it was originally scheduled for, we're ahead of the ball on. We don't have another series of maps to look at.
Okay. And so is it something that, I know we have two members of the redistricting committee here. I think the chairman is currently
It's traveling.
traveling, yes. So is it something that you need to hear from them as a yes?
It'd
right
be
now?
wonderful. It'd be wonderful to hear from them now, and I can
Okay.
also confirm with an email amongst the committee as well, so that the chair can weigh in.
Okay.
Okay, what do you want? You do want us to move, to make a motion to reschedule the meeting, push it back? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't need you to take any action, but I do
Okay.
need to hear that you're in agreement to
Okay,
delay.
well, I am
that
in
meeting.
agreement. I am in agreement with rescheduling the meeting so that when you come back, you do have the, what we wanted. You do have the overlay. That would be fine with me, because that's what I want to see, the overlay.
Thank you, Trustee
Yes.
Pierre. Trustee Maria?
Yes, and I agree. I concur. That's why it's a good thing to be ahead of schedule, to be on top of it. And thank you for being responsive to our request. I appreciate that. So I'm definitely for it.
Thank you.
And you also will be sending out an email, correct? Too?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Anything from us? or-
Any other questions, any other comments, concerns about map 6? That's the map that we will overlay precincts on, as well as send to the statistician election records expert.
Any questions, board members?
Yeah,
So hearing none, thank you.
hearing
Ms.
none.
McBride.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
that
Thank you.
our presentation. As always, we've included for your reference the remainder of the timeline. We're on April 13th, but as you can see, we are well ahead. I mean, well into April and May, we're supposed to be narrowing down to one map. We're already at map 6. So congratulations.
Madam
Thank you.
President,
Yes,
I
trustee.
do just have one comment. I want to thank Ms. McBride, Ms. Martin, Mr. Gardner for the fine work that you've done, not only with the Board of Trustees, but also as you've conducted the community meeting.
Thank
you very
We
much.
appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Ms.
Thank
McBride.
you.
All right, so the next item is suggested future agenda items. Board members, anything new aside from what Ms. Lisa McBride just mentioned? All right, so hearing none. Any other concerns or questions for board members before we close the meeting? So it's 5:44 p.m. and the chair adjourns this meeting. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.